According to Joe Cowley from the Chicago Sun-Times, we now have an update on Zach LaVine and head coach Billy Donovan's relationship and the answer to the question on can that relationship be repaired. We also have now updated on the Bulls still finding a difficult trade market for Zach LaVine. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the content for today. So we got an update from Joe Cowley. This is an article at the Chicago Sun-Times. You guys can definitely go and check it out if you want to read it. But this is more so pointing towards Zach LaVine's relationship with head coach Billy Donovan. Now, it's been alluded to and said many times that Zach LaVine has never quite recovered from his benching against the Orlando Magic over a year ago at this point, which has kind of led to some of this discontent with the Chicago Bulls. But it says this. Another source said that while the relationship between LaVine and coach Billy Donovan is still amicable, it is completely broken from a professional standpoint, mostly on LaVine's end. The guard would rather make ripples than waves, but also no longer wants to play for Billy Donovan and really hasn't since last season. And so that's where it kind of, it all falls apart on it. I know there's a lot of Bulls fans that have the question on, are we really choosing a coach again over a player in Zach LaVine? The last time we did that was Fred Hoiberg over Jimmy Butler. We're all kind of seeing how that's gone. I think this is a very different situation, very different makeup of the team than what it was there as well. And at the end of the day, Joe Cowley still points to that there's still a difficulty right now for the Chicago Bulls front office to try to find a trade market with Zach LaVine. Now, we've heard, Lakers, Raptors, the Philadelphia 76ers recently could be teams that are interested in the services of Zach LaVine. But, that rumor mill is expected to pick up after the December 15th date. And Joe Cowley even kind of points to this in regards to the article is that, the market doesn't start getting serious until about next month, which is January. We've said that January 15th date is probably even more important and more realistic than the December 15th date. And with us hearing that the front office is still trying to find win-now pieces to put a competitive team out there on the court so that they're not like trying to bottom out or anything like that, it adds more kind of names and questions and wonders about where exactly are the Chicago Bulls going to go with this. Now, Joe Cowley in this article also talks about that the Lakers right now, as far as eligible players to be moved, include Jackson Haize, Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, and Christian Wood when it comes down to it. And so right now he says that there's names and possibilities are Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Hutchmore, and Austin Reeves are the most common names being involved in a Zach LaVine potential trade. Now, is that going to happen? We'll see. The fact that we keep hearing that there's little to no market for Zach LaVine has always kind of been questionable on what exactly that means. I feel like there's a market, but probably not for what the Bulls are asking for. Now, with the Chicago Bulls, certain players playing better, even though now we're on a 2-game losing streak, could that asking price come down a little bit is one of the biggest questions there. But at least right now, everything is kind of still going as we expected and as we've known. The trade market for Zach LaVine is not as big as maybe what it would have been around this time last year. And the relationship between Billy Donovan, while it's still respectful of each other, that Zach LaVine just doesn't want to play for Billy Donovan. And it does not seem like this Chicago Bulls team, the franchise, the ownership, are in a place where they're ready to get rid of their head coach and Billy Donovan. Now, is this going to bring about any other bigger problems for the team at some point in time? That remains to be seen. But as of right now, what we know is that Zach LaVine is still slated to be on his way out. It's probably going to be more January 15th than December 15th. So anybody hoping that in a couple of days we may have a resolution to the Zach LaVine situation, it's more than likely not coming closer to the trade deadline, which I believe is like February 10th, somewhere in there. Don't quote me on that one. But let me know what you guys think on this down below. Or were you still kind of holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, there was going to be something to repair this relationship between Zach and Billy Donovan and the team? Or at this point, have you kind of resigned your fact to what we're telling and what the truth is looking like is that Zach LaVine is just over being on the Chicago Bulls, and Billy Donovan being here as the head coach is a big part of the reason why. Let me know what you guys think on all that down below. Make sure you're following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.